We are talking about skin, hair and nails.
Amir approved of two things in your moisturiser, ceramides and hyaluronic acid. The biggest thing that causes aging, wrinkling is...
Slugging is a new trend where you put way more on your face.
There is no doubt in my mind that they are making money off
really
insecurities and damaging children's skin. Who wants to do that?
I think that message should be sent to girls again and again and again.
Gel nails are not...
How do we look after our hair? A very, very warm welcome to No Appointment Necessary with me, Cherry Healey.
And me, Dr. Amir Khan. I'm a GP in Bradford, but you can catch me here on our weekly podcast, No Appointment Necessary.
You can follow us, you can hit subscribe so that you don't miss a single episode.
And remember to join our Facebook group. If you haven't already, just search for No Appointment Necessary and you will join our wonderful team.
Today, we are talking about skin, hair and nails. I love this subject.
Ooh, beauty.
And we are in partnership for this episode with Randox Health. Great news. So they've extended the use of their code NAN15. Don't you love it, Nan?
I love it. I love it.
To save 15% on your Everyman or Everywoman health check until 27th of January.
Yeah.
So what do these tests do, Dr. Amir?
Okay, so the Randox Health Everyman and Everywoman check measures up to 150 biomarkers, giving you a complete picture of how your body's really doing. So it could be your kidneys, your liver, your cholesterol, your sugar, whatever. But regular blood testing is one of the best ways to spot potential risks early, so you can make changes that support your long-term health. And they're really quick to do. And you'll even get a follow-up test 6 months later so you can track your progress and see the difference your lifestyle changes are making. And this saves me a job. You don't need a GP referral.
And you'll get your results in just 2 hours from the test hitting the lab. Just go to randoxhealth.com. All right, so this week's check-in is all things skin, hair and nails.
Ooh,
I'm so excited.
I love this because it is coming up to Christmas and people are going to be asking for certain beauty products. And is it medically worth it?
What's Santa going to put in your stocking? Please let it be expensive and potiony. I love everything. I love serums. I love the whole lot. Okay, let's break it down. Let's start with skin, because that's a big one. In the olden days, we'd just be like soap and water. I remember I used to use this thing, which I'm pretty sure was paint stripper. And now my bedroom looks like a witch's cabinet. I've got lotions and potions. What are all these things doing to our skin? And obviously we've got treatments like Botox and lasers.
So I want to be really clear on this, that I am coming at this as a GP, not as a beautician or someone who is aiming to give you, glowing skin. I'm here to give you healthy skin, healthy nails, healthy hair, and cut through the BS, really, or how my mum says, bakwas. We're cutting through the bakwas. That means BS in Urdu.
Bakwas?
Yes, good word.
What an elegant word.
Yeah.
It sounds like a hotel in Paris that you go on your anniversary. We're going to bakwas. Okay.
Through it. So in terms of technically what you need to look after your skin, and this might mean you might look at your potions differently, Cherry, here. I would say you need a good cleanser. So you need to clean your skin really well. Not too harshly, just nicely. You need a good moisturiser because skin needs moisture. And you need a good SPF factor all through the year. So that's UV protection 30 to 50, whether you're white, whether you're brown, whether you're black, you need SPF. Those are my top 3 skin tips.
Okay, let's go to cleanser.
Okay.
Do you need to double cleanse? And what is a good cleanser and what is a bad cleanser? Do we want liquid? Do we want foamy? Do we want waxy?
So it actually depends on the time of year. So in the summer, there's a lot of moisture in the air, and so you can be a bit firmer with your cleanser. So a foam cleanser, double cleansing might be okay in the spring and summer. In the wintertime, the air is drier and colder and strips away a lot of your moisture. So you might want to switch then to a creamier soap that locks in some of that moisture too. So
I'm a big fan of a balmy cleanser.
Ooh.
Big fan of a balmy cleanser.
Okay.
With a flannel, nice hot flannel.
Yeah. A hot flannel flannel is good because it helps open up pores and helps get things that may have been stuck in pores like dead skin, oil, bacteria out. So kind of steam and hot water do help with that.
So change your cleansers throughout the year.
Yeah.
And a hot flannel. All right. What about moisturiser? Can you get away with not moisturising?
I think, no, you can't get away with not moisturising. You probably can when you're younger, but once you hit kind of 20s and 30s, you really should be moisturising. So in terms of moisturiser, you might want something with hyaluronic acid in because that is pretty good at helping and protecting your skin and keeping it youthful looking.
Is that one of the things that actually works?
Yes.
There's lots of words in the beauty industry. Is that like Amir approved?
Amir approved are two things in your moisturiser, ceramides and hyaluronic acid. Both of those things help keep your skin moist and glowing in a way that has been proven to.
What is hyaluronic acid and what is ceramide?
So ceramides are almost like fats that can sit on top of your skin and protect moisture from leaving your skin. And they form a protective barrier over the skin as well. So they can protect it from other chemicals that might be in the air, pollutants, irritants, anything that might irritate your skin. So ceramides are a good thing to have on top of your skin.
What is hyaluronic acid?
So hyaluronic acid sounds harsh, but actually it's not like other acids. What it does is draw moisture into your skin layer. So whether that's from deeper layers of your skin itself or anything else that you put on top of your moisturiser, it will draw moisture in and keep it on your skin. So both of those things help attract moisture, keep it in place, protect your skin from irritants, reduce your risk of things like rosacea and acne and eczema. All of those things will make a big difference.
So hyaluronic acid and ceramide in your moisturiser. Can you put your SPF into your moisturiser or does that diminish its efficacy? Don't you love that word, efficacy?
You can get a moisturiser that contains SPF and ceramides and hyaluronic acid. That's a really good combination. Or you could put your moisturiser on first and then your SPF on top of that. Remember, that hyaluronic acid will draw out the moisture from your SPF too. But the key thing, the biggest thing that causes aging, wrinkling is UV light. And SPF is the best way to protect yourself from that.
What do we need out of our SPF?
It is the number that's really important. I would say everyone should be wearing between 30 and 50 SPF.
And what does that number mean?
It's an interesting thing, actually, because it gives you the percentage of UVB light you're blocking, just marginally, but more importantly, it gives you an idea of how long it's going to take you to burn. So, for example, let's say you normally, without anything on, you'll burn in 10 minutes.
Right.
If you wear SPF 30, in controlled lab conditions, it'll be 30 times 10. So you might burn in 300 minutes. And if it's 50, then it's 50 times 10, 500 minutes. Remember, that is in lab conditions. It may be quicker outside. So keep putting it on.
Is it not just worth putting 50 on and then you don't have to think about it for longer?
I would always say put 50 on. If you want to look younger for as long as possible and protect your skin, this is probably the most important part, protect your skin against cancer, SPF 50 is the way to go.
Can I give another tip, which I absolutely love?
Yes.
Don't forget the backs of your hands, especially when you're driving because they're so exposed to the sun. So put SPF, put a pot in your car, back of your hands, people.
You know, I have never thought of that. I've never thought. Actually, sometimes people, when you look at, you go, oh my God, you look really young. And then you look at their hands and go, oh my God, that bit doesn't.
You know, you don't want to be looking after your face but look like a goat on your hands.
Yeah, true. That's a really good tip.
I don't know if people look like, whether you get goatee hands. So the foundations for looking after your skin are great cleanser, moisturiser, SPF. As you get older and you start to hit perimenopause and menopause, your hormones are changing. How should you change your routine, if at all?
Well, I think estrogen is important because estrogen in women in particular, helps with skin elasticity, collagen production, keeps everything kind of feeling more plump and fresh looking. So as estrogen levels drop, you're more prone to wrinkling because that kind of structure within the skin starts to fall, but also sagging as well. But interestingly, different ethnicities will age slightly different. So people with Caucasian fairer skin tend to wrinkle more, whereas people with darker skin tend to sag more. Yeah. So it's actually slightly different. And the structure of skin is different in ethnicities. Have you heard of the phrase black don't crack, Cherry?
I have come across it once
Yep.
or twice.
It's common in American vernacular.
Yes,
and essentially what they're saying is that people with darker skin tones don't obviously or visibly age as much as those with lighter skin tones. And there is actually some truth in that for a number of reasons, really. First of all, they have natural melanin, the dark pigment in your skin, and that protects against the sun rays. That's the biggest ager of all of us. But also they have a thicker dermis layer of their skin. That's a slightly deeper layer of their skin. So their structure is slightly stronger. So they don't wrinkle as much as people with fairer skin. So it is true. Black does not crack.
So perimenopause and menopause, I am finding that as I get older and my hormones are changing, I am using incredibly thick face cream. Like the thicker, the better.
Yeah.
And actually my skincare routine is becoming non-negotiable. I used to just like wash my face a bit and off I went. Whereas now I can really tell the difference.
Talk me through your skincare routine.
I use a very waxy, balmy cleanser because I love the routine of it. It feels really nice on my skin. I use a hot flannel. And then I use a vitamin C serum, wait for it to absorb, brush my teeth. Then I use a hyaluronic acid serum, which I was nervous of because it has acid in it, but it's really plumping and lovely. And then I use a very inexpensive, very, very thick moisturiser, and I do a thing called slugging.
Oh, yes.
You heard of that?
Well, I've seen it online, but tell me about it.
Slugging is a new trend where you put way more moisturiser on your face than you might normally do. It's almost like you put a face mask on, put tons and tons on and let it absorb. Just go and watch TV, have a cup of tea, but you just let that big layer of moisture sink in. And then I'll put my SPF on and I reapply that regularly. I reapply the moisturiser and the SPF in the middle of the day.
I love that because that hyaluronic acid that you've put on before you slug will be helping your skin to absorb the moisture from all that slugging moisturiser. I love it.
And I have a routine on a Sunday evening where I'm never going out on a Sunday night. That's awful. And I do hair mask, face mask, slugging, eye patch, do all of my things. It makes me feel really good and lovely, drink tons of water, take my supplements, and just, that's my little time of the week where I just moisturise. Yeah. And I do think that as I'm getting older, that is really helping. And I notice when I skip it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned water. Drinking water, you want to hydrate from the inside out. So, we can put loads of moisturiser on our skin, but actually drinking water is even more important for our skin.
Definitely. I always think first thing in the morning. If you drink it at night, you have to then have a wee. And we've already got sleep problems over here in menopause land. So really making sure that's one of the first things you do. I take a huge bottle to the gym. I look like I've got hydration issues.
Cherry, can I just say that I actually love you?
Do I get points?
You get a point.
Do I get some kind of certificate?
Everyone should have a glass of water by their bed that they should drink first thing in the morning.
Why?
Because you have dehydrated overnight for a number of reasons. You haven't drunk anything for 6 to 8 hours, so that will automatically dehydrate you by about 10%. And because if you're particularly, lots of people mouth breathe overnight as well. They sleep with their mouth open, and that gets rid of a lot of moisture. We're talking about skin, but actually that 10% drop affects your focus and your brain function as well. So hydrating first thing in the morning is one of the healthiest things you can do.
What about people who say that you should add lemon to it because it detoxes and alkalizes?
I'm going to use my favourite word. It's bakwas.
It's bakwas. Back to the hotel.
If you like the taste of lemon, stick it in. You just need water. We've survived on water for so long, and then all of a sudden people are saying, add salt to it, add electrolytes to it. If you're exercising, add electrolytes to it. If you're waking up first thing in the morning, a normal glass of tap water is fine.
Is there such a thing as a detox drink?
No, your liver detoxes you, not your drink.
Just if it's yummy, then great, but it's not going to detox you.
Add lemon if you like the taste of lemon. Add something, anything you like the flavour of. Add it to your water by all means, but don't think it's doing anything more than the water's already doing.
Well, how much water should you be drinking? Because I remember in the 80s, no one drank anything. I remember going to school, I might have a kind of can of orange juice in the beginning of the day. And that
Yeah.
was it for the entire day. How much water should we be drinking
So,
a day?
A day. So if you're going to start your day off with water, which we all should be doing, you're looking at a glass, which is about 300 mils. So a can of fizzy pop is 300 mils. So that's how much water you should be drinking first thing in the morning. Through the course of the day, you should be aiming for 2 to 3 litres of water throughout the day. You should be sipping it regularly. It's the best way to hydrate. If you're exercising, then you might need more water than that. It depends on what you're doing. And you might then need to add electrolytes to your water because you'll be sweating out electrolytes. But generally speaking, all these people who add a bit of salt or a bit of this and a bit of that because it hydrates better, trust me, people, trust me, water has been hydrating us for hundreds of years before an influencer added salt to it.
How else do changing hormones affect skin?
So hormones have a massive part to play in our skin health. So there'll be lots of people listening to this who may have suffered from teenage acne. I am one of them, and hoped that they would grow out of their acne. But actually, sadly, they have gone to develop adult acne as they've got older in their 30s and 40s. And that's usually the kind of acne you get around your jawline and neck area. Now, there's a couple of things to say about this. If you suffer from polycystic ovarian syndrome, you may well be used to acne around your jawline and neck area. And it's a similar thing that happens with the menopause as well. Now, it's all got to do with testosterone. So with people with polycystic ovarian syndrome, they are producing high levels of testosterone all of their lives compared to the estrogen and progesterone that they're producing. And it's that testosterone that causes the acne. Now, I'm going to come back to the mechanism of that because what happens in the menopause is all women will produce small amounts of testosterone. In the menopause, estrogen and progesterone levels decline fairly rapidly. Testosterone levels do decline, but much more slowly. So relatively speaking, as the estrogen levels come down, the testosterone levels don't come down as quickly, so you have higher levels relatively speaking. And what testosterone does is increase the size of oil glands in our skin, but also the amount of oil that we produce in our skin. Now, oil itself isn't that bad, but if you have dead skin cells, certain types of bacteria, pollution building up on your skin already, and then oil locks that into your pores, then you get acne.
Like, that's just a really normal process.
Yeah.
And you can't exist. It doesn't mean you're a dirty person.
No.
Unhygienic, or you've done anything wrong or eaten anything wrong.
No.
That's just something that happens and will happen unless you live in a cupboard.
Yes, exactly that. So you may well develop adult acne as your hormones change. And HRT might help with that. So changing your cleansers to try and work with oily skin might help with that. And it's worth speaking to a beautician or someone who specialises in that to talk about that. And there are, if you're really struggling with adult acne, we can prescribe things for you as well. So it might be things that you put on your skin like antibiotics that stop the buildup of certain bacteria. It can be retinoids that reduce the amount of oil that you produce in your skin. Or you might need to see a specialist for oral antibiotics. You might need to see a specialist for something called spironolactone. Now, that is a medication that can reduce the amount of testosterone that you produce. It has to be given by a specialist dermatologist. Or you might be given something like Roaccutane. You may well have heard of that. And that significantly reduces the size and the amount of oil that your oil-producing glands produce. But that has to be given by a specialist because it comes with a whole load of side effects.
Yes. Can we talk about the beauty industry and the new trend to really target young teens? Now, I have a 16-year-old, and so I'm really witnessing this firsthand. I mean, it started when she was maybe 11, 12, and, you know, her friends were talking about it, and some of them had TikTok and all these. What is that doing to the mental health of our young girls? Because it's, on one hand, it's really lovely and fun, and it's like a ritual they do together. It's like a hobby.
So I actually feel really strongly about this as a doctor, but also as a person living in a society which I think is harder for girls than it is for boys. Now, I think the targeting of young girls for beauty and for profit and targeting specifically their insecurities, which then go into adulthood insecurities, is a huge problem for me. And I feel so passionately about this, I get really angry about it, because someone's thought, oh, we're making so much money of adults in the beauty industry, let's go and have a look at children and see whether we can do the same for them. And unfortunately, that is happening.
Yeah.
And it's such a huge problem because it does say to girls, for me, you're not good enough and you need this to be good enough. And there is a difference between playing dress up and getting ready with your mum or dad and putting their makeup on a one-off to I need to wear this every single day, otherwise I'm not good enough. But you're a woman, you've been a girl, you tell me because you're the expert
It's
in
difficult because there's a joyful element of it. And me and my daughter, we go shopping for these fun products and we kind of test them and it kind of feels like a fun game. Like where she's at right now, I would say it's very fun and jolly and jovial. And she doesn't feel wed to her products. I think I'm cautious and watching out for when it tips over into I cannot exist and I don't feel valuable without it. But I think at the moment it feels in a very fun, lovely place.
I think, you've got a teenage daughter and 16, even like 14, 15, 16 is very different to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And those are the children that are being targeted by a lot of these makeup brands. And we've got to be really clear. Children's skin is, it's one of the most delicate, most beautiful things in the world, but it's not the same as adult skin. First of all, it doesn't have as strong a barrier as adult skin does have. It's a lot thinner than adult skin as well. And it doesn't produce the protective oils that adult skin has. So the harsh chemicals, particularly things like vitamin C, which sounds fairly benign, can do significant damage to children's skin. It can get rid of whatever protective barrier there is there. And remember, there isn't much one there at all. They haven't developed one yet. So that protective barrier, which then lets in irritations, inflammations, infections. But what we also see with young children using makeup, because that protective barrier is locking moisture in, once you get rid of it, all their moisture evaporates and they're prone to things like eczema as well. And that's a chronic skin condition. Why do it? All we have to tell young girls, for me, and I know it's different for me, and I know I'm a boy and I know I didn't have the same pressures as girls do, but I've got young girls in my family and all they have to get told is they are good enough without it.
That was really lovely. And I think that message should be said to girls again and again and again.
And women.
And women.
Yeah.
Because the world doesn't say that. It's a really difficult one to balance because there is a huge element of fun and games and rituals and growing up. But I think you're right. It's about keeping it in its appropriate place. So should a young girl, pre-10, pre-11, should she be using cleansers, moisturisers, serums?
So I would say yes, to a degree. Of course, children, girls need to clean their skin. So yes, you should be using a cleanser and a
maybe an age appropriate.
It's just a soap, just a soap. And yes, they should be moisturising because that is good for everybody's skin. And yes, absolutely, children need SPF 30 to 50 as well because their skin is delicate and they are prone to burning too. And nobody wants anyone to burn. So the same three things that are appropriate for adult skin are appropriate for children's skin, but you've got to look at what's inside of them. So you don't want vitamin C, you don't want retinoids, you don't necessarily need things like the ceramides and the hyaluronic acid because children's skin is beautifully delicate and moist already. So a basic moisturiser, and there are brands that are appropriate for young children, and you can get them. But those are the three things. Clean it, moisturise it, SPF it.
It's interesting because a brand recently got into huge trouble because their packaging is very kid-friendly. It's all brightly coloured, almost looks like sweet wrappers. They got into trouble because they contain very strong chemicals, very strong active ingredients. And so they've been ticked off for...
As they should, because they are making money off really insecurities and damaging children's skin. Who wants to do that?
I think there's also a lot of pressure on young girls and teens to spend huge amounts of money on these products that's unnecessary.
Yeah, and I think this conversation is really timely right now, because there is no doubt in my mind that there'll be people listening to this who have young children in their family who will be saying, can you get me this for Christmas and that for Christmas and this? And you'll think, oh, it's just a cream and it's just a cleanser. Please have a look at the contents of it to make sure it is age appropriate before you do it. And ask yourself, what kind of message are you sending the children or young girls in your family to say you do need lipstick and you need this blush? Do they really need it? Is it better not just to have a conversation with them about how gorgeous they already are?
Right. Now, with skin, I do want to talk about collagen, Botox, injections, treatments, lasers. I love all of that. But it's such a huge subject that we have to cover that in a separate podcast episode.
Let's do that.
Let's talk about nails. I love me a nail treatment, a gel nail, this thing called BYD, all sorts of nail stuff. Is it bad for your nails? Is it bad for you?
So there's lots of information circulating online that is really incredibly conflicting when it comes to gel nails. Now, what I would say is that gel nails are not inherently bad themselves. Yes, some of the chemicals that you have to put on your nails, you could have a reaction to, you could have an allergic response to, but you can say that about anything really. So that's not specific to gel nails. People think, do I need a break from gel nails? Do my nails need to breathe? Well, actually, if you haven't got weak or brittle nails for whatever reason, you don't need to take a break from gel nails. And sometimes gel nails can protect your nails too. Now, the other thing people worry about, and I've seen this online, is when you've got your hand in those light machines, they're worried about the UV light in there. Now, actually, the length of time and the amount of UV light in those things is not that great. It's not that big a deal. And a lot of nail technicians are now moving to LED lights as well. So that is safer. I have questions going, do I need to wear gloves where I'm doing my, those fingerless gloves? Not really, because it's no different to kind of spending the day walking around town for a few hours in terms of UV light.
This is such good news. I love having my nails neat and tidy and done. It makes me feel so good. It's like a real happy moment.
And you know me, Cherry, I'm a skeptic on most things, but with gel nails, I'm saying, as long as you moisturize your nail cuticles, use those nail cuticle oils, do that every single day. But the other big thing I would say is I wouldn't apply or take off gel nails yourself. Go to a specialist, because it's the peeling off that can damage your nails. But if you're going to a specialist who knows how to do it, put them on, take them off, you're going to be fine.
Another thing that happens as we get older is our nails can get dry and brittle. What can we do?
Okay, so there are some medical conditions that can make your nails brittle. And actually, your nails can tell you quite a lot about your health as well. So problems with the thyroid can cause nails to become brittle. So an underactive or overactive thyroid can affect your nails and cause them to fall apart. So that's something to bear in mind. Is it your thyroid? An iron deficiency can change the shape of your nail as well.
Really?
Yes, it's something called koilonychia, which is a posh word for a spoon-shaped nail. So they kind of go inwards and they become spoon-shaped in iron deficiency.
I've seen that occasionally.
What you may well have seen as well is something called clubbing, which is where the nails are more kind of like outwards, so they're curved outwards. And that that can be normal for some people, but it can be a sign of serious conditions as well. It can be a sign of lung cancer. It can be a sign of a significant lung condition that reduces your oxygen levels. It can be a sign of a malabsorption in your gut, like inflammatory bowel disease and Crohn's disease, those kind of things, even celiac disease. So if you've got new clubbing, and we call it clubbing, I'm not quite sure why we call it clubbing.
Almost like a swelling.
Like a swelling that curves around your finger. If that's new, honest to God, that is what I would call a red flag sign, and I would fully investigate that for very serious conditions.
How interesting that your nails can tell you how you are.
Yeah, totally. And remember, with things like hair and nails, they're often the last place that your body sends nutrients to, because it will prioritize more important parts of your body. But they're also the first place that deficiencies can show up. So a brittle nail could be a sign of, like I say, an iron deficiency or a nutrient deficiency, like a B vitamin deficiency too. But the best way to look after your nails, if you're otherwise well, is is moisturising them, moisturising the cuticles in particular, not biting your nails, not picking at your nails. That increases the amount of times I've seen in surgery people who've been picking at the skin around the nails, and then they get something called a paronychia, where it's a collection of pus around the nail, and I have to stick it. It's really satisfying for me. I stick a needle in it and it pops.
I'll come to you. I'll come and do that for you.
Come to me for that. But yes, I think, and remember, your nails are made of protein, so you need to keep building your meals around protein and fibre in general to keep your nails healthy as well.
If you are prone to picking and biting, actually, that is where gel nails absolutely excel, because you can't pick them or bite them.
No,
That's
exactly.
great.
So, yeah.
Can we finish on hair? How do we look after our hair? There's so many different products on the market. What do we really need on our shelf?
So I would start by saying it's not always what you put on your hair, it's also what you're eating as well. So again, hair is protein, so you need good levels of protein in your food. You also need good levels of iron to maintain hair growth as well. And of course, hormones play a part too, as they always do. So estrogen helps with hair growth and it helps with hair thickness. It keeps hair in the growth phase for longer, so hair grows and it doesn't fall out. As estrogen levels decline, of course, that growth phase then shortens and hair falls out quicker and it isn't replaced as well. So women will notice, very common symptom of the menopause, their hair becomes thinner. Now, remember I mentioned earlier when it comes to acne, that as estrogen levels fall, relatively speaking, testosterone levels remain. And so you get, relatively speaking, high levels of testosterone. Testosterone in men is what drives male pattern baldness.
Yes.
And if you have got relative high levels of testosterone in women around the menopause, then you're going to get central kind of loss of hair. And lots of women have noticed that.
Yeah.
So that combination of falling estrogen and relatively high levels of testosterone can cause male pattern baldness almost in women.
When is it right to start taking HRT to redress that imbalance?
It's definitely up to you. So HRT, the guidance is it is for managing the symptoms of the menopause, and hair loss can be a symptom of it. And if it's really affecting you, have a conversation with your GP.
And you don't have to wait until it's really, really upsetting you.
No, definitely, because it's once it's gone, it's really hard. It takes a long time to grow back. We're talking 6 to 12 months. So, not necessarily start HRT early, but, try and look after your hair as early as you can.
Skin, hair, and nails, so huge. I still have so many questions about each of those. So I think we will do this again.
And also, if our listeners have got questions that we haven't answered, send them in. We will answer them.
We will do these subjects again because they're so huge. So please do send us your questions. So since we're talking about skin and hair, it feels very fitting that our sponsor is Polytar. And it can help your scalp if it's irritated, flaky or sore, which is horrid.
Yeah, and I do prescribe Polytar for patients with those hair conditions, but you can also buy it over the counter, no appointment necessary. Polytar is the UK's original medicated scalp shampoo, trusted by doctors for over 60 years, of which I am one. It contains 4% coal tar. It helps soothe irritation, reduce flaking and treat the cause, not just mask the symptoms. It's useful for dandruff, psoriasis, seborrheic dermatitis, and especially for people in hard water areas. So if your scalp is irritated, flaky or sore, it might not be just you, it may be your water, and there are things that can actually help.
So you can actually read a hard water hair report to find out what's going on with your water at polytar.co.uk, and for our listeners, you'll get 10% off with the code appointment10. Right. It is time for Chat GP. Let's see what Russian roulette has got for Amir this week.
Come on.
All right, Jane says, I am going through menopause and have a couple of skin tags that have appeared. I have one on my neck and my hair keeps getting caught around it. How can I get rid of this? I think that is a very common problem for women and men.
It can be. Yeah, skin tags generally appear on areas of friction. So the neck is common because people often wear necklaces or clothes rub along the skin in that area and you get a skin tag.
What is a skin tag?
It's just an overgrowth of skin. It's just essentially what it says.
Like a big mole.
It looks a bit like a big mole, but yeah, it's kind of on almost like a stalk as well, the skin tag. It's quite movable. Now, what I would say is anything dark or pigmented on your skin needs checking by a doctor because it could be, on the rare chance, it could be a melanoma, a skin cancer. So always get it checked first. But if you're confident it's a skin tag, I'm gonna give you some bad news. We used to remove these on the NHS. Now the NHS does not have enough money to remove them. So you have to go privately to remove them.
Is it quite easy to remove them?
So if you're feeling brave, what you can do is tie a little very thin piece of string around the skin tag and tie a knot and cut off its blood supply. And if you do that regularly, you're not pulling it off, you're just cutting off its blood supply. It will fall off eventually. But my advice is go and see someone privately and have it taken off.
Is it painful?
No, because you're doing it over time and and so it will eventually fall off like a scab.
Okay, health hack.
I'm going to go back to something I've already said. Drink water. And all those people who carry those big kind of bottles of water, you're one of them, Cherry, around with them, and everyone rolls their eyes when they walk into the room and plonk their water bottles down. You guys are right. You need to be drinking that amount of water per day. Be smug, be smart, spread this message around.
Be smug and be smart. That should be our motto.
Yes.
Well, I'm sad to say that's all we have time for on No Appointment Necessary. As always, we love to hear from you. All the information is in the show notes. Obviously, follow, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts.
See you next week. And remember, no appointment necessary.